Yeah, team news. Destiny is better. Have trained with the team twice, full trainings and also other trainings. Just too short to be involved for City. We want him to train tomorrow and have another good week next week as well. So, but he's in a good place. It looks very positive about him. Biz will miss this game as well. No, Kulusevski is out. I think that's a longer one. I don't want to put a time frame on it. Yeah.
Now, look, transfers your favourite subject, Thomas. Not too long left till you don't have to have any questions about them. But there's been a couple of scenarios this summer that have been played out very publicly. So Tottenham fans have seen what happened with Morgan Gibbs-White, and then as of very recently with Eberechi Eze now choosing to join another club. How much of a blow is it for you when you have targets and the club has targets that you want to sign and something doesn't quite happen and you can't get them over the line?
I mean, in general, of course, you know that I don't speak about specific players unless they are at our fantastic club. Then I'm more than happy to speak about all our players. So that's one thing. Secondly, and there's been a lot of rumors linked a lot of players, also players I'm thinking, oh, he's been linked with us, oh, interesting. But a lot of times where there's definitely nothing in it. So that's part of the business we talked about before. There must be someone out there that thinks it's good fun to put the rumors out there. But anyway, there'll be a lot of links. There has been a lot of links. There'll be a lot of links in the future. And so just to generalize that, to make it very, very clear, I don't want any players that don't want to come to the club. They don't want to come to the club and wear this fantastic badge, then we don't want them here. I think that's very clear. And also pretty sure that the fans will feel the same. If they don't want to put the fantastic shirt over their head, play for the badge, play for the club, really enjoy it, no problem. Then we don't want them there. So I think that's a key message.
What message would you give to those fans, though, who see those names, probably understand everything you're saying about wanting to come here, but maybe set their hopes and expectations on those players potentially coming? What's your message now to fans, considering there's only 9 days left in the window?
I think, as I said, there's a couple of things. I said it many times, I'll say it again. The club is working very hard to see if we can strengthen the squad, and we only want to strengthen the squad with players that we think is good enough or can improve the squad. So that's they've done from the beginning, and that we'll continue doing to the end of the window.
And Thomas, look, you spoke about Richarlison quite a bit. You've been asked lots of questions on him. Started very well under you the first couple of games. There's still plenty of talk about where his future lies and whether he was included in a potential deal with another club to bring in a player. I'm trying not to mention any names right now. What's the message to him when there are rumours circulating or there is potential that he might be used to bring in some other players? What's the message to him? Because I'm sure you want him firing on all cylinders for you when you've got him.
Right now, he is my starting 9. He's scored 2 fantastic goals. He had 2 top games. He's the Brazilian number 9. He's a very good player. So I'm very happy with him. Rich, you want to stay? I want to keep him. There's been no talks about anything else. He's done well for us.
Thanks, Thomas.
Okay.
Afternoon, Thomas.
Afternoon.
In terms of your creative options at the moment within the squad, I mean, how do you view that area of the pitch? And, are the club actively looking for a player in that particular area?
I think we just played the first game, scored 3 goals. So I think that was pretty promising. I know it's a long season and we don't need enough players and players with different abilities. I think in some of the players we have, Kudos I think is got that spark and creativity. I think Wilson does it well. I think Mattis Tell can play different positions. We've got 2 good strikers in Dom and Richie, and then Brennan, the deep runner. So I think we got how can you say, variation up the pitch. But again, we look out there, and if there's anything that can strengthen it, and that is in all areas, then we're open for it.
clean sheet last weekend, and of course you employed a back four last weekend. We saw a back five against PSG. In terms of your extensive experience of facing Manchester City and going to the Etihad Stadium, and really taking them down to the wire, because I think last season it was 2-1 to City in that game at the Etihad Stadium. What do you feel is the best approach to getting a result there and against City?
I think I don't think there is a go-to system or go-to approach. That is something we are working hard on, of course, the way with our principles. I think the main thing is that we need to go there and be brave. We need to have enough spells on the ball where we can control phase 1 and 2. I think would be a big area. And then I think it's a team that has been except from last year, I think the 4 or 5 years before that, they were probably the best team in the world. And there's no doubt that they want to bounce back. They've definitely been active in the transfer window. If I know Pep well enough, he'll do everything he can to have demands, but also to push the players and want to bounce back, and they'll come flying out. So we definitely need to be good on the defensive side of the game, but that's not only loads, it's also hopefully being brave in the high pressure. So I think it's about brave and aggressive is 2 keywords.
I mentioned the game against PSG. Obviously, it was a really good performance for around 80 minutes. I know the result wasn't the one that you'd wanted. A great performance and a result against Burnley last weekend. So if you were to go to the Etihad Stadium tomorrow and get a positive result, what kind of a message do you think that would send out to everyone? What kind of a marker do you think it could put down early on in this campaign?
No, I think the next game is the most important game, and that is against City, one of the 3 big contenders for the titles. We know they're a fantastic team, a fantastic manager. So to get a result there, but also with a good performance, that will just build a bit on the momentum and the bits we have here. So we are fully confident. We believe we can get a result there. That's what we're playing for. To be brave, but also extremely respectful about Manchester City.
Thanks, Thomas.
Thank you.
Hi Thomas, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
You stated earlier you only want players to come and play for you at this club that want to wear the shirt, really want to wear the shirt, and really committed. In that respect, is it a positive then that the player you were chasing this week, who is an Arsenal supporter and has wants to go to Arsenal, actually looks like he's going to join Arsenal rather than come and join you?
I don't know about whoever the player is, whoever they support. I actually do not care too much about, because we all have a past. The main thing is if the player want to come or not want to come. So if they are from Spain, Denmark, Brazil, doesn't matter. If they want to come, perfect.
To that end, this summer you've high-profilely been chasing 2 players, one at Forest and one at Palace. Presumably that money is still there for you to spend in the next 10 days in whatever position on the pitch you feel you need to spend it on. Is that correct?
The correct is that we are in the market, and we will look to see if we can strengthen the team. That's the main bit. And that's what we are focusing on. I think we need to have some good processes. We need to work hard to see if we can strengthen it. But again, I've said it before, I think we got a good squad. We got good players. Just saw 23 committed players working very hard on the game plan for Man City tomorrow, and that's what I'm excited about.
And despite the long-term injuries you have with James Maddison, Dejan Kulusevski and Heung-min Son having left the club, you're confident, off the back of that answer I take it, that if you don't sign anybody between now and the closing of the transfer window, this club is well equipped to be very competitive in the Premier League and Champions League?
I think it's a good question. Of course, we need to do everything we can to make sure we are as competitive as possible. As I said before, I think we got 6 good front players that I think is very competitive and across all the competition we're going into. And then Kulusevski, he will come back in this season. I think that's a big thing. It's probably longer term with Maddison, unfortunately. But I'm also pretty confident that we will sign a player before the end of the window.
Ali. Thomas.
hi.
It's kind of following on from that in a way, and I guess it's about those numbers. It's about Kudus and Palhinha coming in as the two new faces, but then Sonny and Madders going out. So is the squad really stronger than the one you inherited when you first came in?
You can say that's 2 players in, 2 players out, so probably pretty similar, I would say. But also, as I said, I think my first press was that I think it's a good squad. I think there's some talented players. I think there is some quality players in there as well. So probably the same level, but I think that's good. And then it's up to me together with the players and the staff to make sure we can compete. And then, as I said, we do what we can to strengthen it.
I think you said in a previous press conference, ideally every manager would like players in early in the window because you can work with them and everything.
Yeah.
But is there any fear with this stage, I think with 10 days left or so, that we're at this stage where the club is trying to sign players from clubs that at this point maybe don't want to sell them because it's so late in the window?
I don't know. I think, in general, any club want to sign as early as possible. I don't think anyone want to do that differently. If it was that easy, then everyone could do it. I'm a positive guy. I'm not that fearful, if that makes sense. I believe that something will happen.
I think on tour you mentioned about trying to get it's a natural process of the recruitment side, getting to know you a bit better like you had at Brentford and streamlining that. Where are you at with that? Has that got any kind of further down the line now?
I think that's that's an ongoing process. That is every day, every week. How we do things, how we understand each other, how they understand. Let's say the type of football, how I see players, how I see the game. So that will only grow over time. To expect it to be perfect in 8 week time is probably not realistic. But we're definitely getting closer.
Just want to tag on very quickly because it's part of the same thing. I think you said the coaching staff as well. Your meetings at Brentford were 15 minutes and here they're an hour. Have they brought that down yet?
Maybe 57 minutes. So slightly better. No, good processes is also. I also love to discuss football and love to develop and get better, and that we only do by discussing things. So I think it's been some fantastic discussions. Welcome.
Finish with George at the back, please.
Hi, Thomas. A lot's gone on this week, but it did start with Christian Romero signing a new deal, so you're not going to be asked about his contract situation anymore. How sort of pleased are you that he's going to be here for the long term?
I think very pleased. I think that was a fantastic signal from the club, and of course from Christian Romero as well, that he believe in the club and the project and the journey we just started. So I was extremely happy with that, and I also think that's I understand the exciting thing is to sign players, but I think is as exciting as maybe even more crucial is to sign existing that was difficult top players, and he's one of the top players and he's our captain. So he believe in that. I think was a big statement.
And I guess just from your own point of view, you kind of inherited a tricky situation. You've replaced a manager that's just won a trophy, but it feels like you've made a really strong start to life at Spurs. The PSG performance, obviously Burnley win. Kind of from the outside, it almost feels like you've been let down so far with this transfer window, with only 2 in and 2 out. Do you kind of feel like you've been let down?
No, I think say to my players, if they work very hard, and do everything they can, we can't ask for more. I know the club is working extremely hard, and it's unfortunately not. How can you say, you can't go in wage rows and I want to buy 2 good players and then go and walk away 5 minutes later. It's a little bit more complicated. So I see the club work hard. I see Daniel working extremely hard, Johan, Vinay, and we're all on board in terms of do what we can do to improve.
And just finally from me, the 3-5-2 formation worked really well against PSG, and you've used that in the past against Man City to good effect. I guess when you've kind of got a system like that you know can work, do you just go with it anyway, even though there isn't a surprise element, or do you always like to have a kind of surprise element up your sleeve when you don't go into these big games?
I trained every game a little bit different compared to, but that's definitely in my mind. 3-5-2 definitely my mind, whatever 4-3 won, and I will take a decision on what we do. You'll see that tomorrow. But I'm always thinking, how can we tweak it a little bit inside our principles? And then, of course, systems can do something, but principles is the most important thing. So, yeah, I will use, as I said, I'll be pragmatic. I'll use different systems, different ways to win football matches. Hi.
You obviously have been here for a matter of weeks or months now. The club seems to have a little bit of a reputation when it comes to some transfers, slipping through their fingers, and it appears there have been two of those particular transfers this summer, and fans are understandably frustrated seeing it happen on a relatively consistent basis. At least that's how they feel. From your perspective, knowing all the information rather than just how it appears, is that a fair sort of representation? Is it very different behind the scenes?
I would say first, I don't know the history, of course. I'm also reading a little bit. If not, then I've been briefed pretty well from Anthony about the story that maybe have been something, but I can't really look too much into that. What is happening with potential transfers or not potential transfers, or rumors or not rumors? That, of course, either way, I will keep for myself. What I can see is that we are working very hard, and also what I know is not that easy in general. When you want to sign a player, I can speak from experience in Brentford. I can speak about that, where we also wanted to sign players. Sometimes we succeed, sometimes we didn't. And there's a lot of moving parts. There's the players, the families, the agent. There's a club that want to sell. So in general terms, so that makes it complicated.
And as a sort of follow-up to that, how important is it really to stay calm at this point when there's getting, supporters in particular are getting quite so anxious with the window sort of ticking down, but also how important is it to lift the mood with a new face at that particular position?
Yeah, I think lift the mood. I see. I don't know. Probably speaking about the fans, I guess. I don't read anything of that, so I don't know. But of course, you guys are telling me, so I guess that's part of it. I think how we can lift the mood is good performance and winning on the pitch. I think that's the key thing. Of course, we all want as good a team and squad as possible. And as I said many times, I think we've got a good, exciting squad, and let's see what will happen the next 8-9 days.
And just finally, on Richarlison, you mentioned earlier that he wants to stay, you want to keep him.
Yeah.
It's well known about his injury history at the club, but obviously that performance against Burnley showed what he can do. Where's his motivation levels going into this season?
Oh, day one, he came in, knocked my door. He said, "I want to stay." I said, "Happy, good. I like you. I think you're a good player. Perfect. Let's crack on." He's been working very hard, very committed. Gym on the pitch. He has trained every session. There was one game we took him out of because of the injury history. We know we need to be very aware of that to build him. Thin layers, one step at a time. Taking good decisions. I do our best to try to take good decisions. But I see a very committed player.
Matt.
Can you tell us any differences or similarities between a transfer window at Brentford and a transfer window at Spurs? Exactly the same, or is it different?
I think it's not too different. Of course, I think the big thing I don't know here, and I didn't know in Brentford, is that what is actually happening when they're negotiating. So that's the same for both places. So that none of us know anything about unless you're sitting in that room. I only have done that once. That was a very good story. That's for another time. And that was in Brentford. Yeah, they'll come another time. I promise you that. That probably no cameras and over a beer. That'll be good. But I think both places have good processes. Both places have good recruitment. How can you say strategies? So when I walked in and see what Johan and Rob have done here at Tottenham, There's a lot of similarities what Lee and his team did in Brentford. And then I think the working process in terms of how we decide players, I think it's been good. I think it need all to be a collaboration between the key stakeholders, and then we need to take good decisions.
Can I also ask on a slightly different subject? I think when you came, a lot of people that we talked to said that you're a flexible coach. We saw you play one way against Paris, but perhaps the other end of the spectrum against Burnley. When you go from one to the other, do you just flick a switch? Have you got things that you say to your players and say, like, this is this game, this is that game, or are you?
Yeah.
Are you in between on a sliding scale?
No, I try to be very clear. I think I'm. How can you say? I'm very direct as a person in terms of what I want. I said no, yes, no, this I want. So they're hopefully clear in terms of what I would like to see from the team, and also try believe in simple messages and have maybe 3 key areas, and then try to create a narrative about each game. And that cannot be too big, because it's probably 2 or 3 key areas that will win us the game, or hopefully maximizing winning. And then we know there's a lot of other areas that will affect it.
Those 3 key areas, same every time? Are you saying?
No, that's changed. So that was 3 key areas for PSG, 3 other key areas for Burnley. And the 3 key areas for tomorrow, I'll not tell you.
You can't tell us what they are?
No, I'll keep it.
Not for tomorrow, but from the past? Or?
Yeah, no, for example, Burnley was big on crosses, for example. Enough numbers in the box, so it's not, if you how can you say, look through our games, you can probably how can you say, analyze it and find out. So that was a key thing. I think obviously you could see set pieces against PSG was a big thing, for example. So you're welcome.
Matt.
Hi Thomas. When you sort of miss out on key targets of the club, appear to have this summer.
If we miss out, you never know. Hey, there's only a lot of rumors out there. No one has confirmed anything. Okay.
In that scenario, would there be a danger that a club could maybe sort of jump into something that isn't necessarily right in an attempt to sort of flip the optics and potentially?
I think in any transfer we need to do, or we will do, or have done, it's very rarely you feel 100% sure, because you're always aiming for that perfect player, and there are very few perfect players. And in any decision, we need to be as how can you say, confident and in what we want. And you can say when the clock is ticking down, you can say that there can be a danger. But I think is as key, we can't be sloppy and take a bad decision in the beginning of the transfer window. So I think it's the same focus.
And you said one of your early answers that transfers are always hard. They were hard at Brentford, they're hard here. Did you maybe expect coming into Spurs, the Champions League club, it may be a bit easier to get sort of those top targets and make those major signings?
If I'm honest, no. It's the same problems, you just have a few more quids to spend. Same problems, same challenges, it's just different bracket.
And on reflection, when you look back, obviously the chairman of the club spoke earlier this summer about the need to win the Premier League and those kind of targets. Do you think now those were helpful comments, or that sort of raise an expectation about how the club might act in the transfer window to sort of match that?
I mean, if I'm honest, I'm not thinking too much about it. I think that's very. There will be a win of Premier League in 9 months' time. I can't even. It's so far away. I'm focusing on one thing: go up to Manchester, do my very best to win and get 3 points, and after that, then I'll focus on the next game.
Dave.
I was just going to ask you about Eze. It feels like you're a bit nervous about saying his name. I don't know if I'm allowed to.
You can say yes as long as you want, as much as you want. Yeah.
I mean, what I'm trying to get to is that I think everybody in this room knew that if he had the option to go to Arsenal, he would have taken that option, basically. So, was it, I don't know, maybe you can talk a little bit about the risk and the details about pursuing a player who we all feared might go to another club if they were there for him, which it feels like they always were. Was it a risk is what I'm trying to get to?
No, unfortunately, I'm going to repeat myself a little bit there. I would love to. You can name Esse, you can name Gibbs White, you can name I can't even name the thousand other players. Probably have a list that we've been linked with.
Well, you carry on with
But
this.
yeah, exactly. No, but been plenty of players out there in the whatever last 5-6 weeks. I could mention them, but I will not go in details with any players that's not here.
I also just wanted to say that you've made such a good start, PSG, as we've discussed, PSG, Burnley. I know it's only early days, but it feels like when one thing goes wrong, the mood can change quite quickly here. Ange talked quite a lot about that.
Okay.
I just wondered if that's something you're aware of and you need to address in any way. You cite the positives as well.
I don't. I think I'm too positive a guy. I'm not saying that I can't be, how can you say, either overwhelmed or whatever. But right now, we have had 2 good performances. We've lost in penalty shootouts. We haven't actually lost a game yet. 2 good performances. We got 2 good players in. Kudus, I think, been exceptional. Paulinho, I think, would be very good for us. Going to Manchester tomorrow, I have a big belief we can do something. Big respect against the best team in England the last 5 out of 6 years, something like that, 4 out of 6 years. So yeah, I'm quite positive.
Just finally from me, Pep said some very nice things about you after. Do you remember the game last season?
Yeah.
And he said, I think it was words to the effect of Thomas Frank is destined for a top job. I don't know if you remember that. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of respect there from Pep, and I guess the feeling is mutual.
Yeah, definitely. No, of course, that was very pleasing comment. Of course, I believe in myself, but the journey I've been on to get that comment from the best coach in the world is of course very nice in many ways. So he's a coach I've been studying for many years, and of course really in depth in Barcelona. Probably watched everything back then, what they did, and I think he has changed football the way he has done it. All the rest of us, we just try to follow up and either do small tweaks. Welcome.
Hi Thomas.
Hi.
Last one, I think. When you arrived, I remember you saying, "Hey, everyone happy, everyone's smiling." Do you sort of does it surprise you the kind of strength of feeling that is attached to the transfer window these days? It feels like fans are swayed almost more by signings maybe than even results and performances.
That's the good thing by not reading anything. So I'm not, so of course I'm aware that you guys are saying it or whatever. But if you don't read it, you don't get the same feeling. I think that's one thing. Hopefully we're just going to win all our matches. But as I said in the first meeting, we'll probably lose some matches and they can be tough days. But right now, I think there's more positive things that I'm looking into. And no matter if we're losing games or we're winning games or we are signing 10 new players or we're not signing 10 new players, I need to focus on the day-to-day job. I need to make sure we train well, make sure we do fantastic meetings, do top recoveries, and have all the processes in place to try to do my best to that we can help signing some players. So that's my job, and that I will try to do. Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely also hope we can overperform here. That's the aim. But the funny thing, I was never thinking about overperforming. I just so big believe in. I know that we had one of the smallest budgets, so of course when you see it afterwards, it makes you a little bit proud that you can do that. But I was just focusing on trying to develop the players, the team, winning, and then in the end it worked quite well.
Is it possible that if you are sort of slightly short of creativity or attacking options, that is the case at the end of the window, that just as you kind of adapt the team to opposition, that you can adapt this team more generally, maybe make it more solid in midfield or sort of change the style slightly?
Yeah, well, I think I'm pretty sure how my end goal is, but also very aware I have a group of players. Those are the players I need to work with, and I need to work with them inside the principles and how I wanna play. But of course, depending on their qualities and abilities, then I will tweak it accordingly.